All right, y'all. Let's talk about my boy EJ. Actually, before we even talk about EJ, let's talk about this mark I got in sparring. A little burn. I didn't wear my headgear, so that's what happens when y'all don't wear y'all headgear in sparring and you don't put Vaseline on your face. You get burned. All right. Anyways, let's talk about my boy EJ. For everybody that don't know, EJ is Errol Spence Jr., right? Former welterweight champion. Everybody knows what happened with EJ. He fought Terrence Crawford and, he kind of got dismantled, right? Lately, it's been some rumors, right? People are saying that Errol Spence Jr. is back in the gym. I did see a troll account say that Errol Spence is training with Bomac. I don't know why anyone would ever believe that, but let's get that out the way. Errol Spence is not training with Bomac. I don't think he would ever do that. I don't even think that would be something that he would entertain, right? Apparently, EJ has found a new trainer. For those that I don't know, Errol Spence, he used to get trained by Derrick James his whole career. After the Bud Crawford fight, him and Derrick James parted ways. From my understanding, I think they have like an active lawsuit going right now. So I don't even think they handle, like they even communicate with each other. So all that, it's sad to see, especially when someone comes up with somebody else and you just see like a breakup like that. But nonetheless, I heard that Errol Spence Jr. is in Philadelphia training with how can I describe him? We're just gonna say he is one of the most lowest to keys trainer that, I'm gonna just say it. Stephen Breadman Edwards. All right. Now, Stephen Edwards has trained Caleb Plant. He's trained Julian Williams. And those are probably his two most notable fighters. But the biggest thing that Stephen Breadman Edwards focuses on when he's training is your mentality, right? Now, every trainer is known for different things. You got trainers that focus on power shots. You got trainers that focus on standing in the pocket. But Breadman, I think he does a good job of teaching his fighters the fundamentals, right? He's not going to put you into a fight unless he feels confident about your fundamentals, and he's going to make sure that your mentality is over your physicals, is over everything else. Your mentality has to be strong, right? Now, he plays more so of like a mentor to his fighters. I did a little deep dive and I'm watching him, how he talks to his fighters. I'm watching, his interviews. He's a very sharp boxing mind. And what I mean by sharp boxing mind, he looks at the game through a different lens. It's not just two guys punching each other. He's looking at it, it might be in round one. He might be looking at, what's going to be open in round 3 and round 4. And he's looking at staying calm. That's one of the biggest things that I picked up on when I was doing my deep dive. I'm sitting there, I'm like, the biggest thing that he preaches is staying calm under pressure, right? You're going to get hit with flurries. You're going to get hit with big shots, but don't overreact. Don't panic, right? Now, Errol Spence, I think his biggest strength in boxing is the ability to break a fighter down. And Errol Spence has been known for his body shots. He will sit there and he will invest into the body for 4 to 5, 6 rounds, right? And he will brutally beat you for the whole fight, for 12 rounds. He don't care about one-punch knockouts, none of that. I think him pairing with Breadman, I think we're about to see an unlocked version of Errol, right? I think we're going to see him use his jab a lot more. Now, if we all watched the Crawford fight, we saw that his jab is more so of a pawing jab or a power jab where he's stepping and he's trying to inflict damage. I think Breadman is going to have him inflict that jab a lot more and just have him set more shots up off the jab, right? He's not just looking for those loopy body shots. He's going to be more jab, jab, two, feint, jab, jab. I think we're going to see a much more controlled Errol. And I'm not saying that Errol Spence ever fought out of control, but I'm saying he was kind of predictable. And that's not an insult to Errol Spence. Errol Spence is one of the best fighters. Errol Spence is probably the first fighter that I fell in love with his game when I first started watching boxing. But I'm saying his game was extremely predictable. And what I mean by that is, like, you look at a guy like Zion Williamson, his game is predictable, but he's dominant at it. I think Errol Spence, when he fights Fundora, I think we're going to see a fight where he's going to break Fundora down, but he's going to do it in a different way than he's always has, right? He's going to use his jab more, and he's going to break him down, go to the body, and we're going to see a new and improved Errol. Now, everyone is wondering, what's the plan? And honestly, I don't know what the plan is, but one thing that I can say is Errol Spence is not out here to prove anything to anybody. I don't think Errol Spence's motivating factor is fans. I don't think it's me. I don't think it's you. I think Errol Spence is trying to prove to the younger Errol Spence that he can still fight. At the end of the day, a fighter is a fighter. And when you come off for a brutalizing loss like he did, I think you're faced with a bunch of different thoughts and you're like, do I still got it? I don't think he's trying to please people from Dallas. I don't think he's trying to please trainers. I don't think he's trying to please anyone in that gym besides the person he's looking at in the mirror and the person that he made the vow to at 13 years old that he was going to start boxing. Errol Spence has something to prove to himself. Errol Spence is battling the 12, 13-year-old Errol Spence that was on an Olympic trial team, went to the Olympics and all of that, right? I don't think he's getting in this game for money. I don't think he's doing it for belt. I think he's simply doing it to prove to himself after suffering such a fatal defeat. I think he's trying to prove it to himself. I think he's trying to go out there and say, I'm still Errol Spence Jr., the fighter. I'm not Errol Spence Jr., the horse trainer. I'm not Errol Spence Jr., the father right now. I'm Errol Spence Jr., the great fighter, right? And personally, I think he can get back up to the top, but everybody knows boxing is a brutal game, right? You're putting your body on the line every single day, not just in the fights, but in sparring and training and everything. But I think Errol Spence has something to prove to himself. He can easily walk away. I think the payday for the Bud Crawford fight was 15 to 20 million. He doesn't have to fight for money. He doesn't have to fight for notoriety. I mean, he practically runs Texas when it comes to boxing. Like, everybody supports him. Errol Spence is battling something in his head with his former self. He's trying to convince himself, am I still great, right? And the will of a fighter is measured by how they overcome obstacles, right? How they take a loss and they come back from it. No fighter wants to go out on a loss. I think Errol Spence Jr. is about to go out here and he's about to make a statement. So in 2025, EJ, we rocking with y'all, man. All right. The whole Breadman team, EJ, Caleb Plant, all of them, I think he's about to have one of the best camps. And I think Errol Spence Jr. is about to remind himself. And in the process of that, of reminding himself, he's going to remind the world, the whole boxing world, and everybody that knew and loved him, what type of fighter he truly was. I want to thank y'all for listening to me. I'm going to start doing these videos a little more. I was doing a YouTube shorts, but I was like, on the bigger issues, I think I'm going to record actual videos for my boxing fanatics out there that like, the deep dives, that sit here and think about the fighters, trainers, and etc. I'm going to start coming out with these videos a little more. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.